There are a lot of genres, and all of them have elements which determine what genre they are, and I am going to show you what elements relate to what genre. Next genre. RPG is a very immersive genre, which usually has a lot of customizable elements, like appearance, skills, abilities, where you go, what you do first, and more. Take Pokemon for an example. At the beginning of every game, you get to pick out 3 type of Pokemon. A water type, a fire type, a grass type. Take the first game for example. You get to choose from Squirtle, Bulbasaur, or the right choice, Charmander. Also, you get to choose if your character is a boy or a girl, which is appearance. And also, with later games, like for example Pokemon Sword and Shield, you get to pick the skin colour and hair at the beginning, but you get to change the hair and hairstyle later in the game. With the customizability, with your Pokemon, you also get to pick what moves they have. RPGs also have a tendency to be turn-based or real-time. Pokemon is a turn-based because it gives you time to wait and pick what move you're going to use. This is a similarity to strategy games. Next genre. Strategy games are usually split into 2 subgenres, real-time and turn-based. The most popular one is turn-based. In turn-based, you usually have to attack something. For example, FTL, you buy weapons and you use them on your ship to try to escape. And you do this by managing your team of people to attack the enemies who are trying to kill you. In strategy games, there are a lot of resource management. Again, with FTL, you have to plan where you're going to go because you have limited fuel and you have limited money to buy fuel, which you also have to use to buy better weapons to stand a chance of getting out alive. You also have to manage your crew because you can buy people, you can sell people, but those people are used to manage your weapons, to fix, to battle. Resource management is a key part of this genre. Next genre. Sports games are usually a simulation of a real sport like FIFA, but they can be a made-up sport like Rocket League. When making a sports game, there are 2 ways to go around it usually. They either try to make it realistic or try to make it as fun as possible. With these 2 styles, there comes 2 different art styles. When trying to make it as fun as possible, they usually try to make it cartoony, like Rocket League. When trying to make it realistic, usually when they're trying to make a recreation of a real sport, like FIFA, they try to make it as realistic as possible, again, like FIFA. Sports games are very competitive games. Usually it's player versus player, but it can have AI, artificial intelligence, and have a player face an AI. For example, take WWE 2K20. In WWE 2K20, you can face up to 29 other opponents, but you can only have 4 controllers plugged in at once. So, most of them is going to be AI in that match. But you can still have 4 other people play it. Next genre. Adventure games is all about adventure, as you may have got from the name, and discovering new places. One of the most popular adventure games ever is Minecraft, so we're going to use Minecraft as an example. In adventure games, you usually start off with very little. Like in Minecraft, you start off with nothing, and you can destroy trees to get wood, get a pickaxe to mine stone to start your adventure. That is another important part of adventure games, resources. You have to be able to get them, use them, make other stuff out of them. That is where the fun of most of them come from. Next genre. Action games are all about excitement, all about reflexes and skill-based mechanics which reward good players. Action games are very varied in styles. There are a lot of realistic ones, like Call of Duty, Battlefield, but there are also quite a lot of cartoony ones, like AOT 2 and Overwatch. In Overwatch you are put of teams of 6, and you are put against teams of 6. These teams are all made up of real people, and the first team to get 20 kills will win. So, the best people and the most best people are more likely to win, which rewards people who are good, and the other team will probably get better by facing these people. But there are leagues, so you won't be put against someone who is massively better than you, because that would just put you off the game. Next genre. Simulation games are all about recreating a experience realistically, but entertaining. For example, Euro Truck Simulator 2. In Euro Truck Simulator 2, you pick up stuff and drop them off to make money, and you get fined for breaking laws to punish mistakes, for realism, but also for balancing and learning you how to be a good player. Simulation games usually look realistic to go along with their realistic style and not be too jarring to the player. With the realistic gameplay and style, it goes along and gives the player a feel of how to play this. You have to play this realistically because it looks and feels realistic. It helps get your player into the mindset you want them to be before you play a simulation game. Next genre. Puzzle games are made to make people think. They do this by giving you puzzles, problems, for you to solve. And there are usually many ways to solve these. Most of them are very colourful, but some of them, like Portal, are not. An example of a colourful one is Candy Crush, which is a rip-off of Bejeweled. In Candy Crush, you try to get 3 sweets which are the same colour and line them up. To destroy them, if you get 4, you get something special. And with these, you usually have to try and get rid of ice blocks or something like that. They give you a problem, they give you a way to solve it, and they leave it up to you on what you're gonna do. This is a very typical way of doing puzzle games, especially on phones. Next genre. Most games these days are hybrid games, Hybrid games are games that have multiple genres. For example, a action adventure like Devil May Cry. Action adventure. It has you kill stuff and as you adventure around the level. Action adventure. There are many examples of these. And if you look at the new games coming out, pretty much all of them have two genres, and that makes pretty much every game these days a hybrid game. To find a non-hybrid game, you usually have to look back to the NES or the SNES or the Genesis, because those are early games.